Good morning, everybody. Today is the 2nd of June, and I have some new updated information on the Lynette Hooker case. So we're going to move right into episode 20, The Boat Beside Her. Some developments in the investigation arrive loudly. Others arrive quietly in the form of a name. Today, investigators confirmed the identity of the vessel that was moored directly beside the Soulmate the night that Lynette Hooker disappeared. That boat, now identified as the Azure, may hold the kind of simple, observational truth that can shift an entire timeline. The investigation and identification of Azure marks a meaningful step in reconstructing the environmental surrounding Soulmate during the early morning hours of Lynette's disappearance. For weeks, the vessel beside the Hooker's boat was referenced only as a sailboat moored nearby. Now, with a confirmed name, investigators can begin the process of trying to contact the owner, determining who may have been aboard, and establishing whether anyone on that vessel witnessed activity on the water. Before I go any further, I would like to acknowledge one of my viewers who asked a very sharp procedural question, the kind that actually moves an investigation forward. She asked me, can authorities obtain the owner information for Azure through mooring ball rental records? I thought that was a really great question, and it prompted me to check into that information for her. And in doing so, I found that the answer is definitely yes. You can look at mooring ball records, and they usually are kept in maritime cases. The vessel is also logged, and it's logged by the vessel name, the registration number, the dates of occupancy, the captain or owner's name, and the payment method. So that is incredible information that they could be getting now that they have the name of that vessel. These logs are simple, they're reliable, and routinely used in maritime investigations. If Azure was tied to a mooring ball, the record will exist. If Azure was anchored instead, investigators would still have AIS history, harbor cameras, drone footage, and witness accounts. As far as the dive team, everybody's wondering, what's the delay? What is going on? Well, authorities granted permission for the dive team approximately 2 days ago, and many people who are following the case have been asking about why they haven't begun. At this time, there is no official explanation for the delay and no confirmation that the divers have entered into the water. However, once the Bahamian authorities give the U.S. the okay to do so, it usually takes approximately 48 hours. So we should be looking at a dive any time now. I would imagine it will probably happen today, if not tomorrow. And I will report on that as soon as I have that information. This kind of a pause isn't unusual in maritime operations. Dive teams require finalized grids, safety briefings, current checks, and they need to coordinate all of this before they can enter the water. And of course, the weather is also something to be investigated, and the type of conditions of the sea. So hopefully they will be underway, and that may bring us some new leads. With Azure now identified, investigators have a new witness vector, one that may help clarify the timeline, confirm or challenge existing statements, and fill in some gaps that have been presented since April 4th. Some answers in the case come from dramatic breakthroughs, but others come from the quiet presence of someone who was simply nearby. Azure wasn't part of the story at first. It wasn't a headline. It wasn't a theory. It wasn't a point of focus. It was just a boat sitting a few feet from the last place Lynette was seen alive. But proximity matters. Sometimes the truth isn't hidden in deep water or lost in conflicting statements. Sometimes it's sitting right next to the moment everything changed. Someone aboard Azure may have heard a voice, a splash, a conversation, or maybe nothing at all. And even silence can sometimes be a clue. This is part of an art investigation where small details begin to speak. A name, a record, a witness who didn't know they were a witness. They didn't know they had any part in a possible investigation. For Lynette's family, for those trying to understand what happened, even a quiet detail can feel like a shift in the air. The identification of Azure doesn't solve the case, but it sure sharpens the edges of the timeline. It gives investigators a new angle, a new set of eyes, and a clearer understanding of the marina environment that evening. It also shows how procedural steps, like checking mooring ball logs, can become a pivotal point in a case. This is how real investigations move, not in leaps and bounds, but in steady, documented steps. For anyone wanting to explore the Azure's role any further, you can look at Azure's investigation significance. It is online. And as always, we stay grounded in what is confirmed, what is documented, and what investigators can verify. Azure's identification is a meaningful development, and the steps, including the long-awaited dive team activity, will continue to shape the direction of this case. And I will report any new information I get as soon as it's received. I only want to report when I have factual information. I hope you liked this narrative, and please feel free to comment and definitely subscribe. The episodes will continue. Justice for Lynette.